Beaches are often places of peace, where the waves gently meet the shore. But occasionally, under the right conditions, warm waters and shifting winds can transform a serene coastline into a showcase of nature's true strength. Quite the difference, right? I know that can seem pretty scary, but not to worry, because in today's video, we're going to talk all things hurricane preparedness, how to prepare for them, what to expect before, during, and after the storm. I'm Michaela, your native Charleston realtor, and I help people every single day just like you move to Charleston. Whether you're moving here in 8 days or 80 days, I'm your girl. I have been here my entire life. I've been through like 16 hurricanes, multiple hurricane seasons, and I just know Charleston like the back of my hand, and I love it so much. And I would love nothing more than to help you make a smooth move here and start your new chapter in the Low Country, because who doesn't love Charleston? If you are thinking of visiting or even making a move here to Charleston, I will have all of my contact information in the description box below, with my email, my TikTok, my Instagram. You can reach me through any of those, and I'm more than happy to help you with any questions that you may have about Charleston. So today we're going to be talking about hurricanes, and like I said, I get people that ask me all the time about hurricanes. How bad are they? How do I prepare for them? Is it something I should be worried about? I do want to say that yes, hurricanes can be a very scary topic, but honestly, it should not be something to deter you from moving here. No matter where you move in the world, you're going to have to be aware of some type of weather phenomena. So whether you're moving to the West Coast, they have earthquakes and they have wildfires. In the Midwest, you have tornadoes. Up north, you have blizzards. Hurricanes are just something that you have to educate yourself about, be prepared for, and just be aware of. And that is why I'm making this video, because I want to help you understand hurricane season, because I know not everybody is like me and grew up going through hurricanes. So just having a very good guideline of what to expect and what even they are is just super helpful. I'm also going to go ahead and put the link to the South Carolina Emergency Division's website in the description box below, along with a link to South Carolina's Hurricane Guide, which is going to also have all of this information in there, and is just a good resource for you to have if you're living in Charleston or looking to move to Charleston. So what even is considered a hurricane, and when the heck does hurricane season even start? So Charleston will see two different types of storms. You have tropical storms and you have hurricanes. So a tropical storm is going to be a step below a hurricane. It's a storm that has more of a defined circulation with winds up to 73 miles an hour. But once those winds cross up to 74 miles an hour and those winds are sustained and the circulation becomes more defined and you start to see an eye of a storm, then that's what we consider a Category 1 hurricane. Put the categories on the screen right here, but it does range from Category 1 hurricane, which is going to be the most, I don't want to say weak because they do still cause damage, but that's going to be like the weakest of the spectrum, and then it goes all the way up to Category 5, which is going to be the most destructive storm. So getting a major hurricane here in Charleston is pretty rare. We'll get maybe a Category 1 or 2 hurricane every other year or two, I'll say, but we do see tropical storms pretty much, I would say, once a year. Just a little history, the strongest hurricane to ever hit Charleston was actually on September 22nd in 1989, and that was Hurricane Hugo. So Hurricane Hugo actually weakened to a Category 2 and re-strengthened up to a Category 4 before it made landfall on Sullivan's Island. It created a 12 to 20 foot storm surge, which is wild considering that Charleston is already below sea level, so it was very destructive, and was one of the largest evacuations in the state's history, with over 250,000 people that evacuated South Carolina. And Hugo cost around $7 billion in damage. honestly, it created such a mark in history. Like, we still kind of on September 22nd, you'll see even on the news, they'll say like remembering Hurricane Hugo. It just made such an impact here in Charleston, and there's a lot of locals that have been here for many, many years that remember going through it. My parents remember it as well. And you can, if you visit Charleston or if you're living here in Charleston, definitely ask people about it, because it's really interesting to hear people's stories, because like I said, it is, knock on wood, pretty rare for a major hurricane like that to hit Charleston. And I think that the state really learned a lot from it, and Mayor Joe Riley did an amazing job with evacuating and really warning residents to get out during this hurricane. So like I said, that's just the biggest, that's the strongest hurricane that's hit South Carolina in its history. So that is something just to know, because it's something that here the locals are very like, it's just a topic that can come up, and lots of really interesting stories around it. Also, another little local fun fact, we have this thing called a Coburg cow. So it is actually located on Savannah Highway, and this was just to advertise the Coburg milk. And this is like a legendary cow around here, guys, okay? Her name is Bessie, and whenever there's a holiday, she gets all dressed up. So whether it's like Christmas or the milk on the stand will actually get changed to eggnog. They dress her up for the holidays, but if there's ever a storm coming, whenever Bessie is taken down off of that little podium or stand thing that she's on by Highway 17, if she comes off that, you need to hunker down because there's a storm coming. Usually they'll take her down when there's really strong winds on the way, but especially during a hurricane, you'll start seeing it all over Facebook, like, up, Cobra Cow's gone, up, she's being taken in. Like, that's how you know that there's a storm coming, and you do need to start getting prepared for it. Just a fun little local fact if you're looking to move here. It's just something that we all love Bessie. As far as when hurricane season starts, so it officially starts on June 1st and it goes all the way into November 30th, and the most active months within that time frame are going to be August through October, with September really being the peak. I find that September and like the first week or two of October are where, if we get something, that's usually when it will happen. Hurricane Hugo being a prime example, that one hit September 22nd. So that's just whenever the waters are the warmest and the atmosphere is just more prime for these storms to thrive, because it's been warm for so long, so it's just the waters are at its peak. So first off, let's talk about what to do before a storm even comes. So you really want to make sure you have the proper insurance in place, especially if you're in a flood zone. Please do not wait until a storm is on the way to get flood insurance, because they do take about 30 days to kick in, and you're only going to know if there's a storm coming within like a week or two. So you're not going to have time to get that done. So make sure you have all the proper insurance in place, and if there is one coming, make sure you make contact with your insurance company and let them know, like, you know, make sure everything is covered the way that you have it set to be covered. So if anything is damaged during the storm, you are okay. Next is to know your evacuation route. So in the guide that's linked below are all the evacuation routes within South Carolina. So a lot of the times what will happen is if there is a major storm on the way, they'll actually shut down the interstates and they will have it all going one way away from the coast. So you can't get into Charleston, you can only get out. So that might happen. There's a lot of designated evacuation routes throughout the state, and it's all different based on where you live in Charleston for you, like the best way to get out of that area if there is a major storm on the way. So I will link that guide, like I said, in the description box below. So just make sure that wherever you're looking to move to, or whether you're currently living in, you know exactly what route you need to take, and maybe even a backup route just to be safe in case there is a storm on the way. A hot tip I will say is, if there is a storm coming, not always even a tropical storm, but if there's even like just a category 1 hurricane coming, the first thing I would say to do is go fill up your gas tank, because the gas stations will go crazy. There will be lines like you will not believe. Gas stations will run out of gas. Say the storm does hit, the power goes out, and it's going to take a couple days for the power company to get it restored. You're not going to be able to get gas for several days after the storm. So really, if you hear there's a storm likely going to hit Charleston, or wherever you are, then I would go fill up your gas tank. If you have a spare tank, do that as well, just so you have a little bit of extra, because for one, like I said, their gas stations are going to get hit. A lot of people go there immediately when they hear that. So yeah, get gas, fill up your spare gas tank, and that way you're prepared before and during and even after the storm if there is a major power outage. Also, you'll want to board up your windows, or if you have storm shutters, make sure you close those, just to make sure you're protecting your windows from any flying debris. Some people in major flood areas, especially businesses, they'll get sandbags. So you'll actually see on the news or any like news websites, you'll see a lot of places that do start to give away sandbags if there is a storm on the way, and you can go pick up sandbags and put them by your doors so that it prevents the water from going into your house. A lot of people put them in front of their garage doors. Like I said, businesses, especially like on the islands, they'll go board up their businesses and put sandbags at the bottom. So that's something to also consider depending on where you live and how bad the storm is. You'll also want to secure any loose items that you have outside. So bring in all of your outdoor furniture, bring in any kids' toys, any, water hoses, any plants, any pots, literally anything that is loose outside, string lights, anything. Bring those in, because if there's a storm coming, they're probably going to end up in another neighborhood. You don't want that, and you don't want to have your stuff everywhere. So bring in anything that is loose outside. And also, you'll want to make an emergency kit. Now, what the heck should we even put in this emergency kit? They actually have a really great list in that hurricane guide, which I'll pop it right here. And these are just things you want to make sure that you keep stocked up in your emergency kit if there is a storm on the way. So you want to make sure you have bottled water, non-perishable food items like canned goods. You'll want flashlights, batteries, sanitizer, toilet paper, paper towels, first aid supplies like band-aids or like Neosporin, maybe any prescription medications. You'll want to keep cash on you in case you do need to buy something and the power is out. You can exchange cash. You'll want to bring any chargers that you have. I highly suggest putting any important papers you have in a Ziploc bag to protect them. That way, if something were to happen, those things are still protected. Pet food and their supplies, baby food and their supplies, a weather radio, any battery operated lights, so like lanterns or headlamps. And if you have the means to get one, I highly suggest a generator as well. Just make sure you're very safe with these generators and that you don't cause a power surge or any electrical fires, because that would be really terrible to happen during a hurricane. And also, if you have pets, it's very, very important to have them prepared as well. So first off, if you have any outdoor pets, make sure you bring them in. And if you have any strays around your area, please bring them in just for the storm until it passes. Or if you can't do that, take them to a shelter here in Charleston. We're actually a no-kill shelter city. So please just make sure that those little guys are not outside, because they don't deserve to deal with a strong, horrible storm like that and have to fend for their lives. They deserve to be in a safe, warm place too. So please, if that is the case, make sure that those animals are okay. So what the heck do you even do during a hurricane? So hopefully you have evacuated, and whether you have or have not, make sure you stay informed with the weather radio. And also, especially if you have not evacuated, make sure you stay inside, stay away from any glass like windows or doors. Make sure your car is also parked in an elevated area if possible. A lot of the parking garages in downtown Charleston will actually open up their garages for free so that people can park their cars in there. That way it doesn't get flooded out. So if you're able to do something like that, or just make sure your car is in an elevated spot so it doesn't get flooded out, that is something I would make sure to do. So really, during the storm, you're just trying to stay informed, you're trying to stay safe, and you're hunkered down and just waiting for it to pass. So make sure that, like I said, you're staying away from the glass and you're staying on high alert, just in case anything were to change or you have to act fast for any reason. So that is going to wrap it up for my tips and tricks for being prepared during a hurricane season. Again, I will have the hurricane guide and South Carolina's Emergency Division's website linked in the description box below. And I hope this helped you out, especially if hurricane season is going to be something a little bit newer to you if you're looking to move here to Charleston. And if you have any other questions about hurricane season, about moving to Charleston, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am more than than happy to answer your questions and help you make a smooth move here to Charleston. If hurricanes are something that you are worried about, again, do not let it be a deterrent to you. Just stay informed, stay aware, and educated and prepared, and you will be just fine, I promise. I have lived through so many hurricanes and come out just fine, so I've got you covered. And again, I'm here if you have any questions, but please do not forget to like this video and subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos about Charleston and real estate and life living here. So thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.